Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about board games and the people who play them. As always, my name is Craig, and joining me, also as always, I say as always far too much, it's Rebecca. Hello.
Hello.
Hello, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Wonderful news, and today is a very special day because we have a guest. Not just a guest, but another a guest. Yes, that's two guests. We have multiple guests on. They are two of the greatest board game content creators in this fair land of old Blighty. Yes, we have the wonderful Julian and Libby from Boxed Meeples. Hello.
Hello.
Craig. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to live up to that, but thank you.
It was a lovely intro. I feel infinitely better about myself.
I think it's actually accurate. You're two of the hardest working people because this is episode 43 and we're going to be talking about Airecon. And what we always notice, or what I always notice, is that you're everywhere. Somehow at Airecon, you are everywhere. Because I will walk somewhere and I'll see you. And obviously I have to take a photograph of you where you can't see me taking that photo. And then I'll go somewhere else and you're there. And it's not been like, it's literally moments. It's like Where's Wally? Like, we found you and your Wally, and then if you were to draw a line, you know, like in a Where's Wally book, you draw a line, and like the wizard is always like orthogonally somewhere from where Wally is. Like, wherever you find Julian or Libby, if you follow a imaginary line, you'll find me.
Are you Wally?
Yeah,
No, I'm the wizard.
Oh, right, okay.
Brilliant. I'm happy that makes us Wally. But yeah, I enjoyed your stalking. It was wonderful to see a collection of the back of my head. Throughout my adventures in Airecon. It's going to be even worse this year because normally you've got work when you're at these conventions, whereas I often do demoing, but I have more free time. So now it's going to be double bubble of us roaming halls.
Yeah. But now I'm imagining in my head the micro macro Airecon edition. Yeah. Of what stories get told where you're stalking in a weird kind of manner, and then we find out. You know, where's the dojo?
Yep.
And there's loads of different stories in a flip book, hopefully, like the new version.
Oh, yeah.
Of like Airecon special. Let's request it from
Micro macro book Meeples. I love it. We're gonna make that happen. But
I think we've kind of got a kind of reputation now for doing convention footage, and for our sins, we film quite a lot, and then we try to get it out overnight so that people, if they're coming to the convention, can look forward to watching it, or if they can't come, can then feel like they're experiencing some of it, which just means we are more or less continuously filming, and when we're not filming, we are editing. And it's a bit of a tall order, but yeah, it's what we've kind of now committed to keep doing.
Yeah, but it's one of those things, and because obviously at UKGE last year, you selfishly decided to get married and have a honeymoon rather than come to UKGE, which is I'm not forgiving you. So, and I couldn't obviously follow you. But then I noticed that Chris from Unfringed Things, the guy who designed Zuli and everything, started doing the same thing to me, taking photographs of me as I was walking past the stand. I was like, great. Now I've got a stalker. I'm meant to be the stalker. This is not right.
Yeah, Ricky, where's your stalker? Who is it?
It's everywhere.
We do have these slightly odd experiences because obviously we haven't got as big an audience as other people, but it's always slightly strange when you go to these conventions and people recognize you, but obviously they know a lot about you. We talk quite openly about ourselves and our children and our dog. So when someone came up to me outside of the toilets last year at Airecon, and politely they waited until we'd left the toilets before they came up to me and said, "Oh, we love your content. How is your dog?" And I'm just very pleased he didn't want a handshake because I thoroughly washed. I think he did too. But yeah, that was not just you, Craig, alas. Although I often get you do that YouTube channel. Where's the other one when I'm out on my own? So I'm not sure they want to see me.
Yeah, I'm normally busy on a stand, so they should come find me demoing somewhere.
Well, to get to know you a little bit better, we are going to ask you some quick fire questions. Becky has been busy scrawling away in her notebook these really in-detailed, difficult questions.
I don't think they're difficult.
We'll find
braced for mastermind-esque questions here.
Yeah.
Right. All of the questions are have the number 2 in them, basically. So it's so you can answer one each, or one of you can just take the question and answer it. It doesn't matter. Okay. So 2 games you own that always get played.
You can answer.
Oh, what do we play most?
I'll pick one, you pick the other.
Okay, fine.
Lost Ruins of Arnak
Yeah.
is, I think digitally we play it all the time with people around the world, and we do table it a fair amount because we know it so well. And yeah, we've played it countless times and it always feels fresh and exciting. And even though I do the same move my first action's always the same.
It is. I always try, whenever I get the play first, I try and block the move that I know that he always does.
Mean. So your pick.
Seesaw paper.
Oh, yeah.
We take it places because it's so small, it's quick, it's easy. Yeah, came on honeymoon with us. We were playing that whilst everyone was at UKGA.
On a beach.
With some extra salt.
Yeah. No.
Nice. 2 games you own that never get played.
I could pick a game you never play.
Okay.
I love, one of my favourite games is Detective City of Angels. I think you may have only played it once.
No, I haven't played it yet.
You never played it?
No.
So there we go. I've played it millions of times.
And,
You've never played it.
Well, until earlier this week, when I forced it to be tabled because of a series we're doing, if we go right back at you at a game that you never play that I like, Idrisil Chronicles. It's got that beautiful tree and it turns around in the middle and it's got the Norse mythology and it's lovely, but you just don't like it that much, and it's one of my favourites. But yeah, until last week when it was played by force, that hadn't hit the table for
3 years.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my next question was 2 games you disagree on, but I guess you disagree on those.
That's different to that.
I haven't played that one, so that's not quite.
No, it's not quite. There's definitely some. I know we're lucky because our tastes are, as we found out from doing our top 50, largely overlapping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the ones that were on each of our top 50 wasn't the other was solely because one person enjoyed it more. I don't know what you
enjoy. Overboss more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
You do an awful lot more solo gaming than I do.
Yeah.
Full stop. So anything that's solo play. I mean, I might like them. I just haven't really gone playing solo. Even when we've played Final Girl, I've made him sit next to me. We make the decisions together, because part of what I like about gaming is that chat and being with someone, and that being time to interact with people. Whereas
I've got to go on.
That's quite a general.
Onitama. We disagree on that.
Yes, we do.
Because I think it's awful, and you don't mind it.
Well, because I know how to play it to win, and you can't win, so therefore you hate it because you can't win.
Yeah.
Okay. 2 games you want to buy.
But just on a side
just
note,
2.
on that, Onitama is a fantastic game.
No, you won't. It's awful in so many ways. I lost 19 times in a row.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But I think that's one of those games where, like, Julian sort of hated that kind of 2-player, any of that sort of chess positioning kind of thing. And then, I mean, because of Boop.
Boop saved it. Yep.
You've kind of come around on these things, even Santorini, ones like that you now like. So I think if we could actually get him to play it again,
it might be all right. We played Leaders recently, a game coming out from Hachette in the UK, and I thought it was great. I really enjoyed that.
So I think your taste has changed. You would like it, but it's so set in stone in your mind that you hate it that you won't try it again. That's where we are right now.
So 2 games we're looking forward to buying. Is money no object? Do I know? Am I getting given this for free?
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Well, I don't know why we're saying 2. I mean, I've got 100 on my wish list. What's wrong with you?
I've got lots of Kickstarters on their way that I'm looking forward to arriving. I'm very much looking forward to the Dark Quarter, if that ever reaches.
How long have you been waiting?
I think it's been 2 years now. 2.5 years since the Kickstarter.
If it comes up before April, then you need to wait until April
for the app to be out.
So you've got time now for it to deliver.
I'm gonna say every Lacerda game.
Well, I've got Speakeasy on its way. I don't think it will deliver until just before Essen.
I think so. If it's this year.
But I'm very excited about Lacerda in New York as some sort of mobster gang stashing away some naughty alcohol, building a casino, like getting gritty and mobby.
That sounds cool.
I would quite like for someone to give us the Kickstarter edition of Nemesis, because we have trouble justifying buying it because so many of our friends have it, and we're never going to play it just two. So we're like, well, there's no point us buying it then. But if someone just to turn up with it on all the minis with a bow around it, then I'll be happy with that.
That'd be lovely.
Cool. A 2-player game that you love.
Boop.
Fair enough.
See someone's paper works too.
So that's not.
That's not a 2-player game, but yeah, Boop.
Did you get a copy of Boop the Halls, the Christmas one?
We have every Boop.
Oh,
all the Boop.
It's so good.
Yeah. Also played the Lord of the Rings dual version, and have been enjoying that too.
Cool.
Recently, we have a whole
Sky Team.
Shelf,
Sky Team, I really enjoy.
Can we just give 10 answers instead of this 2 business? It's just not working for us, is it?
To play online or not to play online?
I love BGA for games that I already kind of know a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done many a game where we just go onto BGA. Someone invites me to a game. I'm like, sure. And it goes, you can click on this and this. And I click something and hope for the best. And then all of a sudden, after several clicks around, the game's finished. And it's like, I don't know anything about that game.
Somehow you still managed to win, which is astonishing.
No, I have done that many times. Don't recommend it. It doesn't give you a good experience. Mm-hmm. But I quite enjoy the ability to play games with people we aren't local to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've got a lot of friends around the world. So it's, when we don't see them as regularly as we like to, it's nice to keep that kind of engagement.
Yeah.
And especially as our shared interest is board games. Nothing beats playing in person. And for both our jobs, we spend a lot of time looking at screens. So that's why we enjoy playing board games so much. You get a screen break. And obviously don't get that on digital.
But for those 5 minutes here and there on your phone, just quickly take a turn. It's great fun.
I've always got a game of Root on the go. So,
the 2 best conventions you enjoy?
So I think Airecon is one of them.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're going to talk more about that in a moment. Purely because we get to see so many of our friends. And it's got so much more of a relaxed atmosphere. Everyone, not just us, particularly anyone who makes content, has a lot more time on their hands. So you can try and find time to sit down and get a table together and chat, or maybe just go to lunch or dinner or whatever. Whereas when you go to, say, UKGE, for example, great show, much bigger in terms of retailers and all of that, but then what comes with that? More appointments, more time, more things you have to fit in and do, and especially when I'm usually working, it's just a lot harder to drag the energy and the fun out of all of that. So I prefer Airecon for a UK one, and I mean Essen's just such a spectacle. It's just humongous. The excitement and stuff for that there.
Yes, and you got the excitement of travelling there and it being a step away. We're very much looking forward to going to more our first American convention. We're hoping we'll get to do that sooner rather than later. But
yes.
Oh, that sounds interesting. 2 must-haves for board game enthusiasts.
Must-have game.
Well, not necessarily games. Could be accessories or.
Okay.
A dice tray, because inevitably things are going to ping around them, and a restraint, an ability to not eat food continuously and devote some time to not eating anything that's got crumbs and a potential to damage stuff.
What, on the board game table?
Yeah,
right.
That's 2 requirements for a future board game player. It's not in games.
So my last question: 2 podcasts or YouTube channels or Instagram pages that people should follow. That you would...
I'm a big fan of Get Into Games on Air. I think they make some excellent, very funny content. I'll pick one, you pick one.
Okay.
Fun with Boxes, which is not enough people watch it. It's our very close friends, Finn and Lisa. And they are Welsh. They have more board games than most board game cafes. They don't have a single room without board games in it. I think they've probably got close to 1,000.
More than that. Gosh,
and
way more than that.
They are so lovely, and I'm going to say quirky. I think they wouldn't mind that. And it's just nice that they do a channel which isn't the same as every other channel. They just do the content that they enjoy doing. If they're both on camera, it's always hilarious. Mm-hmm. Phil on his own is just a charming delight. So Fun with Boxes is brilliant.
And he does a really good stop motion section, which is sort of his like little niche bit that he does, which is always fun to see all the components kind of come in and out in that stop motion way. So that's pretty cool.
Who you picking?
One of the ones that sort of we started watching really early doors and who sort of championed us like when we had like 300 subs and stuff is Foster the Meeple. They're a Canadian channel, Jeff and Jamie. And yeah, just really like they've got fun vibes between them. They're silly. They don't take everything too serious. They don't care if they make rules mistakes. They're just in it to have a fun time playing games and talking about the hobby. So
cool.
They've been with us from
they were very supportive to start off with, and now they've become huge, which is great. And they are Jamie's playthroughs particularly are really funny, and if you like video games, Jeff does a lot of kind of video game streams as well, which is always playing the games that I used to play.
So and Jamie is a Final Girl, and you're a Final Girl fan.
Yep.
And well, everything else fan either.
Cool. Well, I think we've definitely got to know you a little bit better there. But now I'm going to pass the mic like this over to you, just throw it. But to let you talk about yourselves for a bit and let everyone know who you are, where they can find you, and that sort of good stuff. Over to you.
Well, we are a married couple, and we like playing board games. And there we go. That's a summary. And we've got a YouTube channel and Instagram and stuff. So we going right back to the start. We both got experience in kind of this field. I work in TV and you work in marketing and events. So we were watching the Dice Tower, and they used to have a feature on there called Favorite Game Friday, where people pick their favorite topics, favorite game specific topic, and we were watching and go, we could be on this. We could chip in. There's no English people on here. So we did it initially as that, and then we created the channel just to host those so we could share them. And then
with no intent to actually being a channel doing anything,
it's just
reviews, doing anything other than Favorite Game Friday.
We wanted to join in on that. And then it kind of grew. People started saying, can you look at this game for us? And we're like, why are people asking us to do this? This doesn't seem... No, but I think we had like 100 subscribers, 200 subscribers at that point.
Yeah, I mean, no mics. We're standing in the tiniest little corridor that happens to have a Kallax behind it. It
was back in a flat. We had this small flat in Rochester, and yeah, we were just filming it there with a phone and 2 foot away from our face. And then it just kind of grew from there. We started hosting more and more videos, and as we did, we got used to talking together on camera. So I think both our interactions together worked better. We got a nicer camera, and we got nicer sound, and then people just got really supportive, and we've had really lovely comments largely throughout. People just saying we like what you do, and it's grown, and now we're in this very nice position where we have quite a loyal audience of people who watch our stuff and engage with us, and it means that doors get opened for us to now enjoy the hobby without a lot of restraints. So, if we want to go to a convention, we are able to. People are even, sending us games to look at, and we never thought people would even do that. That seems a silly thing to be doing for our channel, but it's been really lovely. But most importantly, it's just introduced us to the most amazing people. and obviously that's been helpful for your work and and getting new work. But the community we never anticipated, and some of our closest friends now have all come from either content creation or we've met at conventions, and none of that would have happened if we weren't doing this channel, I suppose.
Yeah. And our main focus is, as you said, this is YouTube, but we do have kind of Instagram. I mean, I think we've even got a TikTok account. Do we post on it a lot? No. but it exists.
We have blue sky now with a total with one post.
I don't know if we've done anything on it, but we've followed a few people.
But yeah, anything Box Meeples is us, or someone pretending to be us, which would be bizarrely flattering.
That would be weird. Yeah. And you said earlier, like way earlier in the podcast, that we do those kind of like get them up daily at shows. I think a lot of people have ended up finding us through that kind of thing. But we've done all sorts of stuff. We've done some Kickstarter kind of things for people, reviewing things. We do a lot of times we do like a 5 reasons you might like. I think you can always find something good in a game, whether it's for you or it's not. And so we try not to give things scores per se, but just say, you know, if you like this type of game, then this is an element that you'll like out of that game. We're recently doing a first impressions.
Yes. So we've been trying to find ways to both look at old games, because we're conscious that with people wanting us to do content on certain games, we just weren't playing our favourites. We tried to find new ways of creating content where we get to play the games that we really love. But we've got close to 500 videos now on our channel, and so and it's a process we just enjoy doing. It's nice to spend time, together, and I'm really proud of our channel and what we've made. So
yeah, no, it's really good.
Yeah, really cool. Shall I do my quiz?
Go on then, you do your quiz.
Okay.
Right, so this is a quiz. There you go.
It's my quiz.
You're going to introduce it?
I don't know what it doesn't have a name.
All right, this is the quiz.
So basically, I'm going to give you a word, and you have to try and guess the game just from the word.
Right. I'm aware of that. Yep.
It will get less abstract as we go through. There's 5 words in total, so you're trying to get it before the 5th word. Basically.
We always do this together. We join in when we're listening to you.
Okay.
And we try to beat whoever the guest is.
So the first word is lady.
Votes for women.
Love letter.
No.
Wingspan.
No.
They were good ones, though.
They were good. I was proud of that.
Yeah. Second word is glass.
Glass lady.
Viticulture.
I mean, you do get the.
I'm gonna say a game you know really well. Distilled. There's a lady on the cover holding a glass. Is that it?
Yes.
Oh, I'm a genius. I'm so proud of myself.
I can't believe that the person
It was going to be
Tables and Games for the answer.
It was going to be
50 times a reason.
Lady, glass, upgrade, cellar, spirits.
We would have got it by cellar, definitely.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself. I've never got it that quickly when you've been doing this.
That is the quickest I think anybody's done it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I knew that after the first one, but it's always good to give the guests a
No,
chance.
you did not.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't have got it actually without your viticulture.
Yeah.
That's my starting point. I do wind up the Dave who runs Paverson keep calling distilled a viticulture ripoff. He loves that joke every time. It's getting funnier and funnier.
Is it? The more you repeat it, it gets funnier and funnier.
I like to think there's a comedy, and Craig, you might agree with this. There's a comedy loop where something hilarious.
Obviously.
Then you've got diminishing returns for a little bit, but eventually, in joke, we're back up the mountain. We're at the top. We're even exceeding the comedy of the original.
100%. That is it. Yeah. Just keep plugging it.
Yeah.
And eventually
hammer that dead horse until some heart sort of is back.
Yeah.
Better than ever.
Those
like
last
a phoenix.
Rising from the flames. Did you know this podcast is sponsored by Shirts and Merch? This is an ad read that I should have done at the beginning. Shirts and Merch is a wonderful shirts and merch company from www.shirtsandmerch.etsy.com. Just search them on Google. You'll find they do wonderful shirts and merch. The most comfortable shirts around. They do not fade. They are wonderful. They are brilliant. You should search for them and buy them, and that would be nice. Thanks. So, today's episode
we actually have several of our videos whilst we're wearing Shirts and Merch t-shirts, which we can guarantee are very, very comfortable. They wash incredibly well. Haven't had any of them be any problem. I wear them to all conventions. I wear them in our videos all the time.
Big fan of Shirts and Merch.
Constant rotation in my wardrobe.
I do slightly worry about people when you're wearing your Obsession t-shirt. People go, oh, I like that t-shirt. But to see that t-shirt, they've been staring at areas I prefer people not to stare at. Love that t-shirt. What are you looking at, mate? Eyes up top. No, I do love Shirts and Merch, and we've got loads of their stuff. So
they even do Christmas ones. So when it finally comes back around again,
like a hilarious joke.
Shirts and Merch are going to be at Airecon.
They are, yes.
I'm going to give them an awkward hug.
Yeah,
awkward hug for Shirt and Merch.
A White Castle design that I very much like the look of.
It is really nice, that White Castle one.
You're eyeing up more t-shirts?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you get the White Castle design in white? And then it's kind of catches the light. And it's like, oh, are you wearing a White Castle t-shirt? You're not? Oh, what a mystery.
Or I could just buy a white t-shirt and pretend I have done that.
Oh, do that.
Yeah. I like it.
I've got a special t-shirt coming, actually, for Airecon.
Have you?
Yeah, I do. I'm not sure if I'm brave enough to wear it. But yeah, if you see me wearing a comical t-shirt, you'll know I have felt brave that day.
Okay.
Nice.
I can't wait to see this.
I hope so.
Craig's...
If not, you're seeing we're doing a video.
I hope it's just...
I'll wear it. But yeah, there's one I might be brave enough to wear.
I'm hoping it's just a print of his actual chest. So he's not wearing them at all. He is.
Wow.
That'd be good. So Airecon then.
Yes.
That's a convention in Harrogate that's coming up in a couple of weeks.
It's its 10th anniversary.
10
Happy
years.
birthday, Airecon.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've just done a video of highlights from Airecon and why you should go and what you can enjoy from Airecon. What is it about Airecon that is... I mean, you touched on it a bit about like having more time, but what is it about Airecon that makes it one of the best, if not the best, convention in the UK to you?
I mean, I have great memories of. It's the one that I've met some of our closest board game friends at.
Mm-hmm.
I went there to work, so with a colleague who was busy in the evenings, and I was there on my own. Didn't know anyone. Like
it was snowing.
It was snowing. We're in Harrogate. Like, oh, I don't know. And people are just so welcoming, and they're like, oh well, you're gonna come out with us then. We're gonna go and play Just 100 in the Crown Plaza down the road with all of our friends. Come and join us. Oh, and before we do that, we'll go over to the apartment. Here, have some drinks. Oh, here, right, we're gonna play this game, we're gonna play that game. And they're just so welcoming into the hobby of someone who just is kind of, I don't know, I'm quite a confident person, but I'm very nervous initially, and I would never put myself forward to go, oh, can I come and join you? I'm just not, that's just not me. I'm always a little bit kind of like, oh, okay, I'll go home to a hotel room on my own then. Bye. But that, that never had to happen because people are so inclusive in kind of just getting everyone to join in on the fun. And it's lovely to be able to see play testers and have time doing that, all of those fun events. You don't always get time to do all of that event fun stuff at these bigger shows, or they don't have so much on. Silly little tournaments, I mean, everyone has the kind of serious ones like Catan tournament. You go into Hall 4 or whatever it is of UKGE, and everyone's there with a copy of Wingspan, and everyone's there with a copy of something else. It's like a proper tournament that people have practiced for. Whereas I feel like, I go along to Airecon. I played the Root tournament in the Manchester one.
You did really well.
I I don't really care if I win or lose. It's just something fun to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Crokinole, that's an excellent game. Let's learn some tips. You do a little round robin, you flick a little disc along and see how you do. Dreadfully is the answer.
Yeah.
No one cares because everyone's just like, oh, if you sit with me, do it. Oh, okay, thanks. And then by the time you've played a few games, you're great. And it's that just friendly, welcoming, not taking anything too serious kind of attitude that's great.
I think the focus is right for Airecon. There's all these other big, huge conventions, massive stands, Airecon is about playing games. There are these, obviously there's exhibitors there, there's retailers there, there's, all those things. But at its core, we've got a massive library, borrow a game, give it a go, play with your friends, and just have a weekend and some extra days just having fun with people. And I always remind people that if you're going to a board game convention, you just don't like board games. You like them enough to go out of your way to some weird place, be it Harrogate or Manchester or wherever they are in America. Go out of your way, you've booked a hotel, you've bought tickets, and you've turned up. You don't just like board games, you absolutely love them. And you're surrounded by everyone else there who has the same feeling as you. They're all totally obsessed with board games. So they're like-minded people. So you can just walk around, and if people have those lightsabers up, you can sit down with them and you're going to have a nice time with your kind of people. And that's lovely at Airecon. And I don't think you see that as much. You certainly don't see that at Essen, where the focus is on spectacle and selling. And you see it slightly at UK Games Expo, but at Airecon, that just prevails.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also there's a bring and buy.
There's a bring and buy.
Julian's a bit obsessive with bring and buys, so he always sets himself this little challenge where he needs to find something for like a £5 or less.
It's always gone well.
It has always gone dreadfully, and I don't think ever stayed in the collection. But we keep trying to find this gem for under a £5. And I find great deals. Like I got a great deal on like Wonderland's War. It's in my top 10 games. It's fantastic. Got it at the Bring and Buy at Airecon. So I'm happy to spend that little bit more on something that I knew I wanted that was already on my wish list. But someone has to go for the random
I
picks.
just always try to find something. I think it was last year. It would have been Airecon. So I bought a very bad game, and we played it. So I then put it back in the Bring and Buy the following year for the same price. And I was amazed at how quickly it was snapped up, because watching it, I was like, why has someone bought that so quickly? I know it's really bad. But yeah, I'll be hunting down. I do like the Bring and Buy because, it's nice that you are finding games that aren't necessarily on your radar. Sometimes you just see something and go, that's weird and cool. You might take it home and not enjoy it as much as you hope, but at least you've got that something new. And other times, obviously, there's a holy grail hope. We all go into, I don't know if you're like me, I see a charity shop, I go into it convinced that there's going to be Twilight Imperium 4th edition there for £5. Still in shrink. It's not going to be there, but it never stops you going in there with that hope, that dream. Because one day you're going to stumble across something glorious and probably put it on YouTube and do a little sexy dance holding it.
Or you do what most of the content creators that go into thrift stores do, and they literally put the game on the shelf. Then they video themselves and go, I'm just going, whoa, look what I found.
Amazing titles. That's, can't believe I found this in a charity shop. Keep watching, like, comment, subscribe. This is the most awesome find anyone's ever had. Yeah. I want that in real life.
What you have to do with the Bring and Buy is you have to go in there and you just have to find a game that's like £5 for a £5 that you don't actually want. And then what you have to do is you have to sell that for slightly more money, and then with that more money buy something else, then sell that for more until you can eventually buy yourself Twilight Imperium 4th edition. So eventually you'll get there. You do that within a year, and by next Airecon, done.
Yeah.
That's a 2026 challenge, though, isn't it? For
accumulator, yeah. But no, I do enjoy it, and we've done lots of videos on the pitfalls and the joy of Bring and Buy, and I've talked about it a fair amount because it is one of the things I always look for at kind of British conventions. I was talking to various people around the world, and I didn't realise it's part of American conventions now too. I thought it's a weird, quirky, like a car boot fair, something only we do.
But they don't do it at Essen. They do that weird, like mass trade thing.
Oh yeah. There's,
So yeah, I do make a beeline for it, but one day I'll find the Holy Grail.
I noticed that Airecon this year have started. I don't know did they do it before, because they're now doing something that they do in America. They're actually I don't know if they did it last year, but a play and win.
Play to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they're doing it with Stonemaier games. They're doing it with Winston and Stamp Swap.
Oh, good. They went with a good one.
I don't remember it last year, but that doesn't mean to say that it didn't happen because I was working and busy. But yeah, it's exciting to think that they're doing that kind of thing. That's fun.
Yeah.
But the raffle is incredible.
That's the best thing about Airecon. Yeah, if you don't, well, you definitely know because you're sitting next to us when we were at the drawing last year. So basically, like most things, there's a raffle. Great. They draw out of a bucket, a numbered ticket, and if you've got a ticket you've bought that matches it, you win something. But it's not you win a copy of, I don't know, Catan. No, you win a table stuffed with games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's mad. I didn't I'd be scared. How the hell you get that at home as well? It's like, you need to transport this now.
You need a van.
Get it out the building. It's like, what?
Yeah, well, one of our friends won last year, and we took some of those games home in our car. Because some of their other friends took some games home.
They trained to Airecon. So they're like, there was this moment you could see in their face of jubilation. Yeah, we've got probably £1,000 worth of games. This is brilliant. Then the realization, like, oh, we can't even get that out of the convention without taking multiple trips to the hotel. How are we going to get this back on a train?
Yeah, it was a lot.
It's an unfortunate thing you have to deal with when you win that volume of games. Must be awful. I hope I never win.
Like, when I heard about the raffle, I thought there's just one set of, games. But there's, 8 or 10 different sets of these amazing...
Yeah.
And it's nice because at that point, everyone is there for the draw.
Yeah.
And you have this lovely, lovely theatre stuffed full of people, all there with the belief that they're going to get a mountain of games. It's nice to see that. And it's for charity. So what a great thing to do.
Yeah. I can't remember how much they raised, but it was quite a lot last year, I think.
It was over 10,000, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is great, really, isn't
it? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, like you said, it is such an inclusive thing. I don't think you're ever in UKGE. It's such a buzz, and it's just so much noise, and you just kind of get through people. Whereas I find Airecon is much easier just to talk to anyone. It feels everyone feels a bit more close knit, a bit more family friendly.
We had. Do you remember the kids were playing up, and then this lady just came over and started teaching us those. What are they called?
They're they're Paco Fun games. Oh, yeah. You've seen those ones, the ones that they look like chewing gum packs. Yeah, and she started teaching them to us.
She said, "Do you mind if I just teach your children this game?" And I was like, "No, you go. They're annoying me.
Take them back. I'm off. See you later. Go down."
You mean they weren't amused by a 7-foot dodo enough to keep them?
I mean, they were amused like that, but this was a few hours after that. But yeah, I thought that was really nice. She took the time to come over and teach them a game.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Our little community of board gamers it's amazing.
Do you have any big favourite memories then from your trips to Airecon?
So we've only been to 2. So we went the first one we went to was the one where it was just snow, and we actually didn't think we were even going to get there. I think it's always nice to we were always very much enjoyed seeing the Watch It Played team and seeing going to their events. Some of their events were really a lot, but again, it's just more the food. The food is the best thing.
Well, food trucks are fantastic.
The food, those poutine. Oh,
I think
chef's kiss.
I think being able to take the kids and not worry that there's so many people that you're going to lose them.
Yeah,
is quite nice. And for their first experience of what a convention can be like, it's a nice format because there is something to look at in the hall where but it's a confined hall and it's not too big, and
you can go off and you find a bit of silence or space.
They're mindful of that because you have quiet rooms for people just kind of overwhelmed by it all. There's places they can go. I even like the fact that you can kind of book private rooms. That sounds a bit special, doesn't it? Where you can go and play, for example, a game of Blood and Cocktail with your friends.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to play with strangers. You all come from different parts of the country. There's a place for you to go, which is, it's nice that people are mindful of needs of everyone.
Yeah.
And there's so many provisions. We've been learning about it since we did the video for people who are going on their own. There's teams to help you find a group of people to play with. There's teams who can suggest games if you're not sure, and even the system of where they stick up a lightsaber, and if they want extra players, just makes it feel more welcoming.
I think also there's always loads of tables that you can sit at. Like, well, at UKG, people are fighting over this. Well, not literally like fisticuffs, but you have to look really carefully for a table, or it's miles away from everyone else. But like at Airecon, there's always, you can get up, leave your seat, and then you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to go to a seat. Somewhere.
Well, I have seen fisticuffs at Airecon. I saw a large 7-foot dodo being accosted by a Hachette panda. And that got ugly pretty quickly. I'm pleased that they didn't, people couldn't make out all the horrific language that was said between those two. But lots of my favorite memories of Airecon are tied to a large feathered beast.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
I don't know if I can mention it, but last year, so if people listening don't know, there's Cosmos do a dodo competition, the World Dodo Championship. And it was your idea. You came up with the idea of, wouldn't it be funny if we did Dodo, which is a very popular game for Cosmos, as seriously as other tournaments are?
Yep.
So,
but kind of very, very tongue in cheek.
Absolute seriousness, playing this ridiculous children game where luck is a driving factor. And skill is probably lesser on the ability. So we did this at UK Games Expo first, and we did it at Airecon. Now, you have to cut this out if I'm not allowed to talk about this. Last year, the dodo nested down behind the security curtain in the theatre, with the dodo tournament due to start at opening of the doors. It's the idea of, families have a place straight away they can go and participate in this family-friendly tournament, which I was being a compere for.
The Murray Walker of the dodo tournament, one might say.
And I kind of get a slightly panicked message from you, who you're working for Cosmos at the time, saying the dodo is trapped. Because what we hadn't realised is that overnight they lowered the security curtains, and the dodo had settled down for the night. She was behind the security curtain, and we didn't know anyone who was able to open the security curtain so we could push out the dodo to the dodo tournament.
Yeah, well, because the next event that was on in the Royal Theatre wasn't till like half an hour after the tournament was due to have started. So the little worker bees for the theatre and all of that stuff, sorting out whatever Watch It Played were doing with their mics and all of that they needed to do, wasn't really due in till sort of 10, 15 minutes before that was due to start. So we're there, we're waiting to be able to
There's lots of panic communications between you and this team at running Airecon, going, how do you open the security curtain? And I just got a message, I can't remember if it was from you or one of your colleagues, saying, can you keep just people busy because we can't start this yet? So then I'm going out with my golden megaphone into the queue of people waiting to come in to try to keep them busy if anyone was heading towards where it was. And it's like, okay, how do I do this? And I've kind of thought as this kind of promotion opportunity where I was then going out saying, yeah, we've lost the dodo. Has anyone seen this dodo? It's a 7-foot dodo, looks like a massive dodo. And as I'm walking up and down this queue of hundreds of people, and approaching people, have you seen a dodo? Fortunately, people kind of got enthusiastic about it at that point. And then
I started helping you look.
Someone's like, it's behind you. And it's not a panto. Where is the dodo? But that's solely because we couldn't start the Dodo tournament until the Dodo was released from the security hell that was behind a theatre screen. But
and the tournament was held in the Queen's Suite, which if anyone's been up to Harrogate to Airecon, is in one area, and the theatre is another. So then we have to walk the Dodo through the whole of the show, behind of many a child who needs to stop to take a
picture with the Dodo.
Whilst everyone's waiting to start the tournament.
But I remember you were ushering the Dodo through, and I was still doing this kind of drumming up enthusiasm for it. And then people were saying, "It's behind us. I've told you not to shout this," and then not realising that actually the Dodo was then behind me, making their way through. But yeah, that was the chaos. And I think the tournament then started without the Dodo being there. The Dodo arrives sort of 5 minutes into it with me chasing after it, with full-on sweat on. Then announced the start of a Dodo tournament that had already begun. It was, but yeah, I think funny moments like that will, nice. I think you can only really get at Airecon.
And it's interesting now. It seems more and more people are launching games at Airecon and certainly using it as a platform to demo and show off and start building kind of hype, shall we say, for stuff that's going to launch at UKGE. So I think we're seeing more and more stuff from publishers using it as a platform for springboarding for the year.
It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, considering it starts off as five people in a kitchen. Now this is so well attended, with the largest amount of exhibitors I think this year than has ever been.
Because Cosmos have Quorum and what's the other one? Marvelous.
Yeah, Marvelous is kind of a bit sort of Candy Crushy. It's a sort of entry level game. If you've ever played Potion Explosion, you've got that kind of rack of marbles that you're trying to, but you have your own personal one. So instead of trying to make that cascade that you do in Potion Explosion, and then you leave that to the other player, trying to make that yourself in order to score points cards.
Cool.
And then Quorum is the new game from Devere, which has kind of got that Roman theming to it. The different areas. Yes. So it's really simple. Pick up a card, play a card. But the scoring in that makes it quite crunchy in terms of the choices that you have. Do you pick up a power card and then increase the power of some of those sections? Can you get yourself ahead of the other players? So you make sure you're scoring the maximum amount in those different areas. Which ones are you doubling down on? Can you make things match up and work together in terms of what you're selecting for your little tableau of cards?
First time I played it, I wanted to throw it out the window.
So we played it last week. I was really enjoying it. I was like, I can see the game. I've got to increase this area and I've got to make sure my tableau matches my scoring thing. And I got it. And I was like, this is really good. And Craig went, no, it's rubbish. And I was like, well, hold on a minute. I don't think you've really understood the rules. So we played it again. And then Craig was like, oh, yeah, now I get it. So
I think I was the same, Craig.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think it's a bit of a cities. It's much lighter than people expect from Devere, and also it plays better at 3+ than at the 2-player version.
We've made a little house rule where we put an extra scoring token about halfway up.
A dummy third player on the number 6 of all the tracks.
Yep.
So then you're always then challenging a dummy third player. But also you're only playing, and it works much better. And it's like that's a simple rule that should be in the rule book.
But I think there is a good game there. I want to see how it plays at like 4 players.
Yeah, it's much better. I think
much better at 4. Yeah, that's I mean, I had to get out of the box and teach it straight off at 4, which was a bit weird. But we style it out. But even that one, playing with people that don't often play games. That game I felt was better game than when we first played it as a 2. So,
So are there any exhibitors that you're looking forward to seeing or catching up with?
I'm looking forward to going to the demo zone, which is where you're seeing either games that have just been kickstarted or in the early stages. Our friends Jess and Sean from Allies and Enemies are releasing
another great YouTube channel, FYI.
Have watched them. But they've got a game coming out that we've played an earlier version of, called Last Week of Summer, which is really brilliant, particularly if you like 80s nostalgia. So I'm keen to see that and get a chance to play it more. But I've discovered some really great games at the demo zone. It's like you get it at Games Expo as well. Just sometimes you see some really original ideas and people just looking for a break, looking for a chance to make a dream game. So I like that kind of creativity. I'm looking forward to, obviously, latest Lorcana, which will be there.
Yes. We just went to the Hachette Games Day, where they were showing us a lot of the stuff they're releasing for 2025. I've fallen in love with Cyclades Legendary Edition, so really hoping that's there again to get out and play. That was amazing. And Strange World Above the Clouds is a fantastic little card game that's just incredible.
I played that recently because Hachette have picked it up, but one of our friends, Marie, she has a copy that she got from Essen.
Yeah, we have friends with one from Essen too. Lucky thing.
It's good. It's really good. But the problem is those negative scoring monsters on the side. They're so adorable. They should be points. I want points. They're amazing. Keep them. But yeah.
And I know that Pavison Games, who brought us Distilled, are bringing us Luthia. They have got some playtest tables there for 2 unannounced games. That's exciting, isn't it? To be able to go to a convention like that, go up to a reasonably well-known publisher and be able to playtest a game that they know is coming that hasn't even been announced, and have that kind of potential input into how that continues and gets developed.
So do you have to sign up for those, or is it just
you can sign up for them through the game system? Okay. So they're he's on table 8. I think there's quite a few playtesting things that people have set certain tables and you can book in for. I always find it quite tricky to work out, okay, so what's a booked playtesting table? What's someone's booked a table but they're not really a publisher, they're going with their own game, and what's the game seekers bit? And it's trying to kind of get my head around which bit's where and where are they all.
I want to be surprised. I mean, I love it when I see a game I've never heard of, I sit down and play and go, whoa, like Survive Alive last year. Sitting down, didn't really know a great deal about it, played it with Rick, the designer, and instantly loved it, really enjoyed it. So I'm hoping for another surprise on par with that.
And Time Troopers are there again. You really love that one.
I really enjoyed that.
But do you love Time Troopers? I'm obsessed with Time Troopers.
Yeah, so Becky's birthday, we had Lee from Molinarius who came to the part of the convention, and we and you had another play of it with the T-Rex and stuff going down.
Spoiler warning. But no, I love it because...
There's a picture on the poster!
I love it because I do enjoy solo games we talked about earlier. I'm a big sucker for thematic games, which is why I love the Van Ryder game so much. And it does do that so well. Even down to them now having a soundtrack you can listen to while playing. I love that amount of immersion. So I'm looking to see. I've played it once in Manchester, Airecon. So I'm hoping there's some new bits I can see, but I don't want to spoil too much. So when I get this,
do you know that they've changed all the artwork?
That's exciting.
So it was originally they'd used kind of like an AI art, just
like placeholder.
In the interim. But at Airecon, they will have all the new artwork for you to see, so it'll be very exciting.
I'm very excited by that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more. I think we're doing some content on it on the channel. Probably doing even a solo sessions or 5 reasons on that, which is one of our 2 kind of strands we do. But I really enjoyed that. But it's in many ways, smaller publishers is where I get excited. We played Spokes last year.
Yeah, that was really good.
From Radical 8. And knew nothing about it. I sat down, played it, and thought, "Oh, this is good."
Yeah, well, and you're not really a sports kind of person, so going, "Oh yeah, let's play this game about bike racing." It's like, but it was really good.
Yeah, it's good.
I think I saw Airecon. I saw Joyride for the first time, and now that seems to be
That's everywhere.
massive. Everyone's loving that at the moment.
I saw that on the Dice Tower for the Gamma stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friends at No Drinks on the Table will be there, won't they?
She'll be there with Divide and Conquer. I think she's showing off her new game, the one she was designing, the dress one. Should be nice after Divide and Conquer did really well.
Is Unfinished Things there?
Yes. Oh, he's got a new game. And I will tell you what it's called. Feather something. Feather something. There you go, Chris. I know you're listening. It's called Feather something.
Such a catchy name.
It's going to be Feather something.
And our kids at the Space Centre did the Two Thin Coats painting.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure they'll like to do that again.
I've done that a few times because I'm a bit of a miniature painter. I enjoy painting miniatures. So I did a timed challenge at Essen with Two Thin Coats. We had to paint Meeps the cat in 20 minutes. But the problem was the paint didn't dry completely in 20 minutes. So it was kind of wet blending.
Oh, no.
Trying to beat this time. It looked a bit of a mess. It wasn't my finest work.
It wasn't.
I think others might have been really proud of it. But yeah, I was just like, whoa, that's still sticky. But yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to give that a go because painting's something that I'm hoping to start doing a bit more of this year. That's one of my little aims to do, which I'll probably put on the channel, a little journey of from nowhere. I've painted one thing that we did for, what was that?
Charming painter video for Zoontalis.
Yes, Zoontalis. And then that's the only thing I've ever painted, ever. So that would be exciting.
I think you said in another podcast how lovely it is that companies are willing to do this. You know, they're giving you a miniature, they're giving you time to paint. You can sit down and just do it. And if people, it's quite an expensive hobby to get into. You know, buying all the paintbrushes and all the paints. You can't just have 2 paints. You need lots of paints.
Yeah.
So being able to just sit down, particularly with younger gamers, and go, give it a go. If it looks awful, then it's not for you. But if you really enjoy the process of doing it, this could be something that's your thing. And how great it is that they give you the opportunity at no cost just to do that.
Yeah. I was quite impressed. Like, our 5-year-old had a go, and actually I was like, I think she's done a better job than I could do. She was painstakingly, she was really into it. But they were so, at the Space Centre, they were so complimentary of the effort that each child or each person had gone to. I just thought, how lovely. They've gone away with a lovely memory. They've taken away their little, painted miniature. And now, their self-esteem has grown because they were just lovely people. It was glorious.
Yeah. Fetching Feathers, it's called. Fetching Feathers.
I have heard of that, yes.
There you go.
Ooh. So
I've heard the working title. Feather something. Fetching Feathers is nice too.
Yeah, I guess.
What else is coming from Hachette? Because I always like to check out that stand. So you've had a sort of sneak preview at their game day.
Yeah,
Gwent.
So Gwent is coming, if you know The Witcher. Series is a card version of that plays, I think it plays up to 5 now. So it's not just a card dueling game. That's a licensed version of it. It's not just a Gwent-like game. No, it's proper Gwent. We played Strange World Under the Skies. Leaders was awesome.
Yeah, we played, which is also on BGA, a 2-player game, Architects of, I'm going to say Amethyst, but I can't really remember how to pronounce the last word there, but you'll know it when you see it. And that's quite a nice, just little kind of everyday, place a tile.
Yeah.
It's more where you're trying to make the tiles in a specific shape, like
you put your worker on the main board when you take one away, so you get a bonus if you manage to put your workers in a line. So you've kind of got that kind of competition between the two of you as to sort of stop the other one from getting that bonus, but you also want to take the right coloured tiles and the right type of tiles, because the different colours will match up with some scoring goals that you've got, and the different types of them will score or give you different things. Like one of them lets you pull another scoring card. One of them will score for every type of building that you've got that's of the same height as the one that you've just placed, and all these kind of different conditions. So the colours matter, the type of building matters, and where you're then taking it from, because of where your meeples are then on the board for, matters. So you kind of tying between those three things.
Yeah, I really liked. There's a game called Flow, which is based on an Oscar-winning film, won an Oscar yesterday, of an animated film about a cat and a dog in a flooded town, and it's a cooperative survival game, really, that's wonderfully scalable. So if you're playing with younger children, you can just remove all the headaches and just have this process of laying tiles to guide the animals back to a safety of a raft. But as you play, there's a chance a wave might come along and just wipe out a row and a column on your grid, and you have to start again and rebuild this. And you have to do this before the tiles run out. But it's adorable to look at, and the film itself looks fantastic. I'm very keen to see it. But I do love the fact that, if you want to play it a hard mode like we did, you can actually scale it up quite a lot. So it's a really ruthless challenge. But then for younger people, you can take it right back down. And I always find that kind of for family play, I don't know if your children are the same as ours, more so when they were younger, where one person wins, this is the best game ever. Lose, I'm never playing this again. This is awful. You've ruined my day. But for cooperative games, it's a really great way where everyone wins. Hurrah, we're celebrating. Everyone loses. Oh, that's awful. We can play again now.
Yeah.
No one has that responsibility. So Flow is one to look out for, I think. And that's
Is that the one that Flav loves?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it's easy to find Hachette at any convention. She's got Flav, usually in some sort of awkward, slightly revealing costume.
Or in a Pac-Man suit.
Yes, Pac-Man. Offering hugs.
He's getting his money out of that Pac-Man suit.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They've got the Micro Macro Kids.
Yep.
As well. We played Cyclades, which we spoke about earlier. Incredible. But they had some stuff that's also it is out already, like Shackleton Base, which is a great game for anyone who hasn't seen it. So.
Obviously, they do all the Yonk games. So the new Deep Sea Adventure Boost, I think, is now being released in the UK. We had a copy at Essen, which makes one of their most successful games just better. If you don't like the kind of random luck in Deep Sea Adventure, this new version sorts it all out and makes it much more strategic rather than luck based. But Moving Wild, we played. That was nice.
Yes, we did.
And the weird
and that one
Dropolita.
Where you have to keep the bells in your hand while you're
that game. So good.
Oh, that was fun. I won. That was why it was so fun.
And they had the massive Stomp the Plank there, which is always great.
Yeah,
for Stomp the Plank. But Hachette have got a lot of things coming out this year, and they're a distributor that's really getting quite big now.
Yeah, they've got a game called Focus as well, which is like a cooperative code names meets something else. But it was really good. We played. I tried played that.
And also Canal, a UE game, 2-player.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Nice. Sounds fun.
Cool.
But there's quite a lot. And are there any events that you're particularly looking forward to?
Yeah, we booked into some. Our friend, I keep mentioning our friend, like some sort of name dropper. Rosie from Cozy Board Games will be there doing another chat with Kim Joy. Oh, yeah. We went last year. Rosie's, I think a lot of your listeners will know Rosie. She's such a big deal on TikTok. And very, very close friend of ours. So we like going to their chats, and it's nice to kind of relax. It's just things are getting busy. You go in there, it's chilled, it's nice. We're just going to chat about some critters this time.
Yeah, last time was about Cozy Board Games. This time's Critterific. So we'll be going to that. Because she also works for Cardboard Alchemy, who are bringing out Critter Kitchen, so that makes sense to go crittery, doesn't it?
We've never played a proper version of Blood on the Clock Tower, so we need to do that.
Yes.
Because we played it in our local game group where some of the people didn't quite understand what they're doing, and the GM was trying their best to explain it, but by that point we'd kind of worked out what their roles were and it kind of dragged it all down. So I want to go to a proper version of that, a proper experience of that, which is one thing I think we've really missed out on.
Love Clock Tower.
And I'm excited for the pub quiz.
We've signed in for just 70?
No, Flip 70.
Flip 70.
That's right.
I think we might have that down on our schedule as well.
We'll be in one of the hotels, I think Saturday evening, playing Mammoth Just One. Just 100 maybe if we get enough people there. That was another weird Airecon experience. We're playing this in the hotel foyer and a hen party came in. And it was like, what are you doing? We're playing this game. Can we join you? they should have been doing something better for the hen party than joining in playing a game of Just One with complete strangers, but they did, and yeah,
It was fun.
It was funny. Yay for that.
Well, and another example of how inclusive Airecon is for allowing people to enjoy games.
Even slightly abbreviated hen parties. Welcome at a game.
And there are other ways to enjoy games because you can buy games, you can go to conventions and play games. But did you know you can also rent games?
No,
indeed, yes.
Is there some sort of company that offers that?
Oh, there is indeed. That company is Rent, Shuffle and Roll, and they proudly sponsor. They proudly sponsor this podcast, Get Into Games on Air. That's us. You've been listening for 1 hour and 4 minutes already, so you should know that by now. Rent, Shuffle and Roll are a fantastic board game rental service where you can rent board games and try board games before you buy board games. They have a huge library and catalogue of games to choose from. And if you use code GITG50, that's GITG50, you can get 50% off your first month's board game rentals with Rent, Shuffle and Roll. So head to www.rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and do that today.
I've just grabbed a pen and paper. Let me write down that code. Was it GITG50?
No, that was it. Yeah, that was the code. That was the exact code.
Excellent. I've now written that down. I shall be using that to get 50% off my first month. Get into Bench Shuffle and Roll. An excellent service. We've used it in the past.
Yeah, well, we've actually done a video on it.
We have. We tried it.
On
years ago now, I think.
channel.
Yeah, check out our YouTube channel and you can find more about
and if you like them and you want 50% off your first month,
GITG 50.
Or Box Meeple 50. Damn it!
No, that won't work.
No, that won't work.
I've just had a word menus encircled in front of me, so I will read. So,
me trying to organise you, and you're just...
It's like a wonderful glimpse behind the curtain of this well-oiled machine.
I love a bit of lubricant. Anyway, this is time for the board game menus. Hello. We normally, every time we do a podcast sometimes, and we have guests, we get them to put a board game menu, but this board game menu is a slight twist. This would be your ideal board game menu that you're taking to a board game convention. Who would like to go first with their menu?
I'll do my menu first. Because I'm going to nick all yours, then you have to think on the fly.
Or you just shoot dry.
Okay, so I've gathered around my friends. We're going to have a wonderful night of proverbial eating. So we're going to start off with a nice get into the mood, get into the game, if you will.
Nice.
With a game of either startups or scouts, depending on which group I have. I've grabbed strangers.
All right, we'll
I'm letting them pick
2 starters, like a little piggy wig.
Yeah, it's a buffet in my fictitious restaurant. And they're both small oink games. If I've been carrying them around with me around the convention, it's not weighing my bag down. They're both fantastic for different audiences. So I am starting with one or other
of the S oink games.
The S oink games, yes.
Right.
Nice.
That'll lead us nicely into a beautiful main course. And I have gone for, I think, the best convention game ever. It needs 8. So hopefully I haven't got more than 8 in my fictitious group. If so, I might go, oh, look over there. It's Rodney Smith. And they might run off to awkwardly hug Rodney Smith. Probably not this year. But and we are going to play a game of Captain Sonar.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Which it only works fantastically at big player counts. You're not going to play this solo. That would be ridiculous. But I remember playing this years and years ago at a old board game club I used to go to. And the idea is you take battleships and you just make it more complicated with everyone having individual roles, and you play it in real time if you're playing it properly. And you have a navigator and you have your weapons manager, and all chaos ensues because you're navigating around the board hoping to find your opponent. Now, the reason I'm picking this is because I'm very mature. And last time I played it, I was the captain. And I managed to direct the ship in a way that may have drawn a slightly adult-like symbol on the map. And I knew that Navigator on the other side knew what I was doing because they were beginning to slowly giggle as, we went continuously north to get a longer line, then made a beautiful curve and then headed south to continue that line there. And I love the fact that he clearly knew where I was on the map, but was happy just to keep letting it go. I don't know where he is. Nothing's matching up. Just to see if I could finish my picture.
Remember.
And I would love to experience that again, maybe one day, or just play it properly without that ulterior motive. So yeah, Captain Sonar, and we're going to finish off. There's an obvious. I would have picked just one because that's the ultimate party game, but I haven't. I've gone for a nice come down after the exuberation of blowing each other's ship up and laughing at maybe phallic-like drawings we've accidentally drawn. With That's Not a Hat.
Nice.
Where such a simple game, you're given a card and saying, this is a tyre. And the next person, and they're passing around these. But the weird thing about That's Not a Hat is somehow it reaches into your brain, squishes it to get rid of any short-term memory whatsoever, to the point where as you keep playing it round after round, you can't even remember what's come from this round, what's come from a previous round. You don't even know what you're looking at by the end. You're looking at a card and going, turn it face over. I can't even remember what I just looked at. No idea at all. I've lost that 2 seconds of my life. Can I have it back, please? And yes, I love playing that with massive groups where there's not a hope in hell you're going to remember what everything is. And then you start just randomly naming stuff. That's not a hat. That's a hamster. There's never been a hamster at any point in this gameplay ever. You're convinced it's a hamster. So yes, we are going to end with that, and then everyone's going to hug me and say, what a fantastic choice of 3 games that was. You've really made this convention special for us. And let's never play Captain Sonar with you ever again because you ruined it.
And I do enjoy it when you make up something that's that's not a hat, and then you see it go around the table as the thing that's never existed, and it comes all the way back around again.
Everyone's convinced it's a real thing.
Oh, like it's never been that.
I didn't know what it was.
But I mean, in my opinion, I think that those 3 games are it's 6 o'clock. The retailers have all gone home. Everyone's maybe had dinner and a couple of beers and stuff, and then you're playing those games.
Yes, we are.
I feel like what happened about the actual games at the convention, like in the day sitting at the table.
My friends have just come for giggles.
You've just gone to the midnight mix or something of convention. It seems there.
Yeah. People don't come to games conventions to play proper games. Well, they do such a thing.
It's like
what's on your list?
No rules required.
What is on your menu? Oh, you've written it down.
I've written them down because in case my memory was bad.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So I'm starting off my starter with a game that's not too big a box, but has got some crunchy, nice decisions. Because I've come into the convention at 9, 10 a.m. hoping to play some good games, not at 6, 7 p.m.
Post pub. Let's play some games.
Yeah. So I'm going to start off with Res Arcana, which is a lovely little game. Nice resources, relatively quick to play, and just really nice ways of comboing what you can do with your cards, and it gets to that point where I can tap that so I can do this, and that allow me to do this, and then that can do this. And I really like games that kind of let you cascade a little bit like that. So yeah, I thought that gives enough crunch, but not kind of totally blowing your brain or anything like that, because you're going to be playing a lot of games throughout the weekend. Sometimes you want to have ones that have that crunch but aren't 4 hours long.
Yeah.
And on that note,
we're into something that's 4 hours long, isn't it?
The main course, have also gone with a high player count, because I do find at conventions you do often get to that point where it's kind of like, oh, well, yeah, I'd like to play that game. Oh, and I'd like to play that. Oh, my other friend wants to play that game. And all of a sudden the 4-5 player games don't fit enough people. So I've gone with Last Light, which is a 4X game. Plays quite quickly, very quickly for a 4X game. Looks incredible on the table because you've got those gorgeous planets. So everyone's going to come over and be like, oh, what's that game? That looks gorgeous. And it also, if you've got all the right stuff for it, plays to 8 people. So I think that's a good choice to get a bit spacey, get a bit 4X-y, feel like you're doing something
it's
good.
It's an incredible game because for within an hour you feel like you've had that proper 4X experience. And
also you've got everything lined up, you know exactly what you're doing, and all of a sudden everything turns and you're like, oh right, that's my plan gone.
It's done a lot more at 8 players.
Those
planets are spinning around like there's some sort of
you get to here and then get to there, and it's like, oh right, I'm probably just going to get attacked in a minute. Okay, we'll do that instead then. But yeah, I think that gives you a good crunch.
Okay.
Good crunch.
Yep.
And then for my silly, so I am going to get to the silly convention games, but I feel like they're your dessert.
Okay.
We don't need 3 desserts.
Okay.
We could just have one of those.
But treats.
Exactly.
Very healthy. We've gone straight past the salad bar. We're not interested in that. We might have picked up a bit of fried chicken and just a few chips, but my mates were all in the dessert section.
Yeah, exactly.
They're chowing down on donuts and ice cream,
sundaes and cheesecake over there. So for my sundae and cheesecake, I'm going for Poetry for Neanderthals.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Which version?
Well, and it depends who you're playing with as to which version you're going to go with, as to whether you're going to go with the no
stick or
the spank me blow up implement, shall we say.
Banking wand.
Poetry for Neanderthals is a game that I actually associate with Airecon. So one of the first years I went, Watch It Played were doing a talk, and people were talking about their guilty pleasures and things like that. And I remember Paula Deming said, oh, do you know, my guilty pleasure is Poetry for Neanderthals. And then my now very good friend, Lisa, who was one of these people that sort of took me in at the show that I was talking about earlier, said, oh, I've got that in the bag. I've never even played it. And then, so we went back to their...
I can imagine the carnage that ensued after this.
Well, we went back to where they were staying, and this was prior to going to the hotel to play the big group Just 100, because that was the year they did that as well. So we wanted to do both things, but she's like, let's give this a go. So you blow up this club, basically, and you turn over the cards. There's an easy word and a slightly harder word, and you have to say everything in one syllable, or you get pointed on the head. So all of the time there's 2 teams, and one team is looking over your shoulder whilst you try to work out how to say anything in one syllable. And all I can say is these really long, like 5-syllable words that I didn't even know were in my vocabulary. But suddenly saying the cat sat near
game this. Good fun had play game at con with pals. I'm awesome at it.
Yeah, I'm not, but it's a lot of fun, and I very much enjoy holding an inflatable club.
I think depending on your group, you don't need to play the adult version, because eventually it's just going to become adult words. Maybe it's just our circle of friends.
No, I think we have games. There are so many games that we have like that, and it's just suddenly this is just the most normal game that's possible, and then suddenly it's like, first word, no. We played a game of Itto, and which is better than the mind. It's so good. Have you played it before?
Yeah, we used to.
Essen, it was great.
One of the people who liked our channel sat down and played it with him. It was really fun.
It's so good, but we were just like, everything was just disgusting. Like from top to bottom, it was like, how has this happened? This game could just be completely normal.
We have a friend when playing Just One who always thinks of the most filthy word, particularly when playing with a more senior group, because they then have to read that word aloud, and someone get all very embarrassed and like, oh, can't read that. But yeah, that's that. He just does that to kind of cause a ruckus.
We broke Dixit, didn't we? as well now.
We can't play Dixit anymore because we
basically made Dirty Dixit.
That's just a Disney version.
We had Dirty Dixit, so we had to basically just make the filthiest words up as we were putting the cards down, and it was but now we can't look at that copy of Dixit anymore because
it's just a shame.
Things have happened.
The guilt. Can't take back that time. You treasured it at the moment,
but it was worth it.
Yeah, always worth it.
and
have you picked? Did you pick a menu?
Did I pick a menu? Oh, I can do a menu. You do a menu first, because then I can think of one.
On the fly?
Do one.
I can think of one on the fly. Right. I'm going to go to the convention. We're going to... so the first game, we're going to go with our family. So we're going family convention. We're bringing young children to the convention. So this is the games that we're going to play with the kids at the convention. So starting
Can you tell the thinking time that's going on here?
Yeah, it's a lot of treading water going on here, and I can't help but feel the word dodo is going to be said at any point soon.
Well, firstly, I was going to say a game called Water from our good friends at Singer Games. Water is a really good little card game where you are trying to... it's a bit like Dirty Pig from Cosmos. But you're basically you draw two cards and you can play two cards, and you draw and you're trying to put vegetables, and then you can you play rabbits to steal other people's vegetables, foxes to scare off animals, because the idea is you've got to try and go to the farm to get 4 different animals. When someone's got 4 different animals, the game ends and you count up how many vegetables you've got and how many animals you've got. But the person who gets the 4 animals first is the person to score animals. Everyone else has to get rid of theirs. They go to the abattoir and see you later. That's what happens. And then the
go to Happy Farm,
and it's a really nice game. The kids love it. They're ruthless with it, actually.
Mm-hmm.
So that one is a good start game. Then we would play a game of the Crooked Crown. Because again, them kids are ruthless, or Cheese Feast, something like that, because they can bluff so well. It's quite scary. And then for a final game, we would play Cockroach Poker, because our eldest can't handle it. She just can't click. Because our 5-year-old can be like, "That's a spider." And it's absolutely not. Our oldest is like, "That's a spider? Yes, it is. Oh, it is." So, it's there you go.
Okay, I got mine now.
Go on then.
So I would start with Flip 7, because everyone can get involved. It's not too tricky. You sort of lure them in, and then when they're there, because you've got like 15 players.
Nice.
Then we can play Clock Tower.
Yay!
Yay!
The thing that where the game is sitting next to us as well, and you just
I just picked my favourite game.
Of course you did.
And then we would end the evening with what probably turns into quite a rude version of Quick Stop.
Yes.
Which we've talked about before, which is letters and...
You have to say a word. There's a phrase. There's an object, like a thing that it has to be.
Thing.
It'll say word beginning with P, and then
it's lucky you don't teach games for a job, isn't it? Phew. Found your calling there.
Yeah. One day I'll reach that dream, that pinnacle that I'll be.
Look it up. They can look it up.
They can look it up. It's over there. Actually, wait a minute. It literally is here. It's next to us. You did look next to us and pick the things that were next to us. I've seen through your lies. There's a bit of ASMR for you. Well, thank you very much for joining us on this episode of the podcast. Why don't you let the people know one last time where they can find you, follow you, and do all those nice things?
Thank you very much for having us. We are Julian and Libby. We are Box Meeples. Ideally, you will subscribe to our channel on the YouTubes.
That would be nice.
Even follow us on the Insta as well. And if you want to do some commenting, yay!
That also helps. Yeah. We do have a really nice community, so there often is a lot of chat going on the videos. So that's all great. But yeah, if you like our fun bants, we do this in video form, so you get to see our pretty faces.
Oh,
and we'll be if you're looking at Airecon content, hopefully you'll enjoy the stuff we do coming up when we're there.
Cool. And UKGE, we'll be covering that one as well.
And if you're a really big fan, offer me coffee, because I would have had 2 hours sleep from spending the night editing to get the video up that morning.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, and thank you so much for listening. If you are listening and you did enjoy this episode, please give us a 5-star rating, 5-star review, leave some lovely comments, share us with a friend, because that's a good way to grow the podcast and keep it going.
Can you remind me one more time what that code was?
If you go to rentshuffleandroll.co.uk and use the code GITG50, that'll get you 50% off your first month of Rent, Shuffle and Roll. That'll also help the podcast with a little kickback to keep the podcast studio lights on. I don't know how that works. It's just a kitchen. And that's us. So thank you again so much for listening. Go to Shirts and Merch. Go follow Boxed Meeples. Do all those nice things and those nice comments. And we shall see you on the next one. We won't see you.
Or at Airecon.
You can...
We might see them at Airecon.
We'll see you at Airecon. We'll see you at Airecon. And we might go to Warhammer World on the way home.
Woohoo.
Maybe. I don't know. So we did that once.
We did.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was like Harry Potter
World.
World.
The whole podcast again. Right.
Hello and welcome to Get Into Games on Air, a podcast about people and the board games that play them.
The board games.
The podcast?
Stop it now.
Okay, and remember to get into Boxed Meeples.
Oh,
maybe not.
What an invitation that is.
Nice. Thanks so much for listening, and remember to get into games.